Hey everyone, Lauren from A Girl and Her Wool here. Today is Wednesday, April 15th, and I am bringing you another episode all about my current works in progress. So this is definitely my favorite video to post during the week. I love catching up about all my current knitting projects and showing you what I've been working on. So it's a little bit later in the day, which actually I'm seeing maybe the lighting would be even better. We have these windows right next to me where the sun comes in during the day, and then at night it comes in on the other side of the house. So there's really no sun shining directly on me. So we'll see how this goes. I'm going to try to make this pretty quick. I just wrapped up working for the day and want to get this out tonight, but I also have trunk show prep to do and lots of orders to fulfill. So thank you everyone who has been shopping at my shop. I have been so enjoying getting all of your orders and dyeing up all of the gradient sets, and can't wait to do more with this trunk show. So if you haven't heard, I'm doing a virtual trunk show on Saturday, April 18th with my local yarn store, Knit Sheep Yarns. And we will be doing a live Zoom meeting at 2 p.m. on Saturday, and then the video will get downloaded and posted on YouTube for 2 weeks, and we will have some fun giveaways and lots of yarn and fun talking and making a fool of myself. So I hope you join us. There's a Facebook event that you can find, or head to my blog or the blog at knitsheep.com if you want more details. You can also message me if you have any questions. And I did post a trunk show preview post over the weekend, so check that out. I'll be having a new base and a new colorway for you guys. So make sure you check that out for everything I'm going to be offering. So without further ado, I'm going to go through my whips probably pretty quickly and hope to do a longer episode next week. But we'll see. I get chatty, so you never know. So the first project I'm showing you guys is I have a finished sock. This is the Honeybee Dance Socks by Helen Stewart, and you can see it is a textured pattern in the front, so it has cable designs and then a lace textured pattern that looks like a honeybee. So this first sock is done. This pattern is a cuff down pattern. I knit it toe up. And I cast it off. The ends are not woven in. Today's Wednesday, so if I have time to craft tonight, I will be weaving in ends. And yeah, let me grab my sock blocker right here. So I actually finished this sock while I was on a work call with some friends. We try to do a coffee once a week just to, see each other, reconnect. So I finished this sock, and I actually cast on the other sock, which I'll show you, but here it is on the blocker. So you can see the bottom of the sock is plain and the top of the sock is not. I did 1x1 twisted rib cuff because, well, I'll save the reason for next time, but for the most part I didn't really follow the pattern. I did it toe up instead of cuff down. I followed the texture pattern as is. I did a Fish Lips Kiss heel instead of, I don't know what heel is in the pattern, and then I did the 1x1 twisted rib at the top. So that is the finished sock, and then like I said on that call, I ended up casting on sock number 2, and since then I have knit a few repeats of the second sock. So I'm probably getting fairly close to the heel, but not quite there yet. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 repeats, I guess, of the pattern before the heel, and I've done 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have about 2 more repeats before I get to the heel. So yeah, I'm making progress on that. Again, I knit these as my primary project, so while I'm dyeing or while we're watching TV. I will say I knit on something else a little bit, so you'll see that in a minute. But yeah, I am making good progress. So hopeful that I could finish this sock before I update you next, but depends on what day I typically do that. I normally record all of my videos on the weekend and then just upload them throughout the week, but it's been busy, and so I'm finally getting to it today on Wednesday. So if I do record this weekend, the progress might be smaller because it'll only be a few days from now. So that's my first project. Those are my honeybee dance socks. The yarn I'm using is One Twisted Tree yarn on the prime base, which is a regular sock yarn base, and it's the Rare Woman Claire colorway. One Twisted Tree is no longer dyeing yarn, but I've had this in my stash for a while. So the second project is one that you have also seen before. This is my Drakenfell shawl, and you can see it's growing. So that's how much I've done. I'm actually on the stripe portion of it now. So I've finished kind of the first section of it, and now I will be striping. I still have not gotten to the third color yet, but this is all Suburban Stitcher yarn on the single ply base, the single sock, which is a single ply base, and the dark blue is Darkest Hour, the coral is Clementine, and then when I get to it, I will be using this color as the third colorway, which is Sweet Adeline. So again, this has been the project that I work on while I'm reading, and if you've tuned in before, I've talked a little bit about how I haven't been reading as much, and that's because I do a lot more knitting. And so I've been, as a way to also give myself some downtime, I don't know if everyone agrees, but I feel like being home all the time, you see things you need to be doing all the time, and it's harder to separate kind of work from home. So I've been starting my day with a half hour of reading and working on this project and drinking a hot cup of coffee before kind of getting into things. I don't do it every day because, you know, some days are just too busy, but whenever I can, I do that. So that's primarily when I've worked on this, is just those 30 minutes a day. But there was a couple of nights ago when I finished up work and I was in a good place with dyeing, so I ended up taking about an hour, and I just kind of laid on the couch and I read and I worked on this, and that was perfect because I think in recent days or weeks or months, I would have turned on the TV and watched an hour of TV. But I really wanted to work on this. I was getting close to the end of this section and I was excited to get to the stripes. And so I said, well, if I want to work on that, then I have to read. And I did. And I actually finished the book I was reading recently and started a new one. So that was exciting. And yeah, so again, I'm on the stripes now. I think I've described the shape of this wrong in the past. It will just continue to grow. Each row will just continue to get longer and longer, and this side will be one edge. The side over here at the bottom will be another edge, and then the third edge will be what's cast on, so the bind off. So it will be like that asymmetrical triangular shawl, but it doesn't go out and then back in. It just kind of keeps growing out. So the rows will get longer and longer, and Fibonacci is here now. And yeah, I'll continue doing my garter stitch and reading and enjoying. So you can't see him, but Nacho is here. So my third project is a brand new cast on. And so I've talked a lot recently about how I've been pretty monogamous. I've had one kind of project that I'm always working on, which is that honeybee dance socks pattern right now. And then I have my reading project, which is my Drakenfell shawl. And so you're probably wondering, why the heck do you have a new cast on? And that is because sometimes you just need to do something different. I cast off the first sock, and as I said, in that same call I was on, I actually ended up casting on, or I bound off the first one, and I ended up casting on the second one right then and there. And but later on, I kind of just was feeling something different, and I have a larger bag on the floor here that has random stuff in it. And it had a project in there that I had gotten at a festival last year. So I went to a festival. It was actually the first one that I had ever been to. And while I was there, I came across the Tidal Yarns booth. And I don't have a card, but if you've been to festivals like in the Northeast, I feel like she goes to a lot of them. Anyway, she had samples for a hat that was out of little 50-gram balls. I think they're 50-gram balls of a few different colors. I'm not actually sure how much yarn is in each ball, but she calls them minis, so it must be 20 grams or 10 grams. I'll try and figure that out later. But anyway, she had kits set up where you could pick out colors and mix and match them to make this hat pattern. And so let me show you the hat pattern first. So this is the pattern. You can see it's a chevron hat pattern, and like I said, you could mix and match which colors you wanted. So you would get one ball, like 2 balls of the same color to get the brim and the crown, and then you could pick other ones. I ended up picking the same colors that she had in her sample at the festival because I just love them. I didn't take a picture of that though, so I probably mixed up the order she had it in, but that's fine because I love it all the same. So on mine, and this is what one of the minis looks like. She kind of just rolls it up into a nest. It's just in a loop. It's basically a skein, a mini skein. And it's worsted weight yarn. It is not super soft, but it's not itchy either. It's really pretty. And so my brown was the main color, and then my contrast colors were a lot of the colors she had were muted, which I love. So I have like this deep rose, like a muted purple, a light blue, and then a golden color. So that is that, and I seriously I'm like not showing it yet. I seriously crashed and burned on Sunday. I think I had a later lunch, and after I was like, I'm just gonna sit down for an hour, and I ended up just sitting down for the rest of the day. So I cast on this hat, and you can see I'm just about done. Of course, it's coming off the needle, and I'm just about done with it now. I think I have a few more rows before I would do the crown. And honestly, I probably could have finished it that night. I ended up picking back up my honeybee dance socks. I think I couldn't like subconsciously admit that I like sat down for long enough to knit an entire hat, but it is worsted weight yarn, so it did go very quickly. So you can see the hat here. Again, this is Tidal Yarns. I don't think, it didn't come with labels. I don't think the colors have colorway names, but you can see the brown, blue, the rose, the gold, the purple, and then you kind of repeat back up. So I'm just about where you would add the brown back in to do the crown. And my stitches just popped off again. So if you see Tidal Yarns at a festival, I assume she has a website too, and if she does, I will definitely link to it. Check out these kits. She had a lot of different colors. You didn't have to get just these. She had a lot that you could mix and match and play with, and then the pattern was given for included. I don't know that she's still doing that. Again, I went a year ago at this point. It probably is a year to this day. Like that festival probably should have happened around now and it got canceled. So anyway, I sometimes would forget that I had this kit ready to go. And so as you guys know, this year I'm trying to get through a lot of yarn in my stash. And so when I was finished with sock number 1 of that, I was like, you know what, now's a great time. I'm just gonna knit on this hat. Like you guys know, I've been looking for more complicated projects, and this is not complicated at all, but just doing color work was something different than doing a textured sock pattern. So I ended up casting it on and just kept going with it. So this will probably get cast off soon, and then I will do a faux Friday post on it soon. So those are my current whips. I have not spun all week. I'm looking at my wheel right now, and I really need to make 15 minutes for it, but I also need to make 15 minutes for, you know, cleaning the bathrooms and doing laundry too. So spinning hasn't really been happening. The other thing I was going to say was my northeasterly. I showed that last week. I did pick out new colors that I'm going to show for it. I did kind of vlog that a little bit. I've been trying to vlog some of these project planning that I'm doing. So I meant to post that yesterday, but I have not edited the footage yet, so you should see that soon. That is it for today. I think I did end up rambling on way longer than I planned. So I'm going to get back to dyeing and prepping for the trunk show, and I hope to see you at the trunk show or see you online afterwards. It will be posted for 2 weeks on YouTube, so if you're not into the live Zoom meeting type of thing, don't worry. You will definitely get the full experience anytime between April 18th and May 2nd. So I hope you're all happy, healthy, and staying safe. Hopefully we're at the later end of this quarantine, but you never know. So keep knitting, keep staying home, and I'll see you soon. Bye.